Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Good work yesterday on finishing up your annotated bibliographies. I will ensure that I work through those materials and get you some feedback. But right now, the purpose of the annotated bibliography is solidifying the research that you feel you need in order to prove your argument. So we need to go back and look at our research prospectus, particularly the research question, or what you hope to answer through your research, as well as your hypothesis. So this is updating your claim based on your research. In years past, students have sometimes found that they're arguing for the exact opposite of whatever topic they initially set out to research. So if you're going to add something new to this conversation, what will that be? Now, getting back into our agenda, yesterday we had the e-learning in which you completed your annotated bibliography. Please note that when I click on to today, it will tell me that the annotated bibliography is due today by 3 p.m., but it also gives me the agenda for today, Wednesday, March 18th. So, the objective for today, as you continue to research and plan for your essay, remember that your ultimate goal is to produce a single source that proves your hypothesis through the synthesis of multiple sources. According to Dana Lynn Driscoll, author of Primary Research, Observations, Surveys, and Interviews, the author claims primary research is often based on the principles of the scientific method. Using the scientific method, researchers develop research questions or hypotheses and collect data on events, objects, or people that are measurable, observable, and replicable. The ultimate goal in conducting primary research is to learn about something new that can be confirmed by others and to eliminate our biases in the process. So, you have a few different directions over the next 2 days. I want you to follow the steps below in order to identify, plan, and conduct the necessary primary research you need for your essay. Step number 1 is watching this instructional video. Well done, you're amazing. Step number 2, you're gonna read, it's an 18-page article. It's a pretty quick read, and it outlines what primary research is, as well as the 3 different types of data collection you all can use. Step number 3, of course, is completing the reading quiz as outlined on our syllabus. And then finally, compose an updated research prospectus to reflect your research. You have 4 questions for me. First, update your research question to reflect your secondary sources. Now that you've gone through your secondary sources and you've written your annotated bibliography, do you need to update any language to articulate what the sources told you in your research question? Then finally, number 2, edit your hypothesis to articulate your argument. Now, this means that based on your secondary research and the question that you want to answer in your research question, what's your claim? What's your hypothesis? What are you setting out to prove through your research? Then, I want you to identify the research method, questions, and primary source or sources you're going to use, and then create a calendar to outline how and when you will collect the primary research. Let's get into today's page. As it opens, please note, we're going to go over this pretty briefly here, but let's go over what primary and secondary research is just as a refresher, or for some of you before getting into the article, here's what it is. Secondary resources, they analyze and interpret studies, events, or procedures. They review and analyze. They might be a systematic review or the synthesis or an opinion. Essentially, secondary resources are anything that someone else wrote and you are incorporating into your own writing. While primary research is firsthand, it's a population or intervention or instruments or results, it's clinical trials, it's a randomized control study, it's a cohort, whatever that might be. Primary research is conducted by you, for you. So whomever you choose to interview, you need to bring in and let them know that you will be quoting them in a paper. That's the most authentic, professional thing to do. Let's get back into today's page. Here outlines the objective and directions that we went over earlier. Now right here under step number 1, I'll upload this video once it's on YouTube. Step number 2, you're going to read The Introduction to Primary Research by Dana Lynn Driscoll. It's, like I said, it's a great article. You'll learn a lot from it, and as you can see, the font is large. This is not a crazy large article. Moving down to step number 3, you're going to take your primary research quiz. That opens actually Tuesday at 8 a.m. And then finally, you're going to come over here and you're going to follow the directions. Now that you have finished your annotated bibliography, you must move on and complete the following tasks. Here are the 4 that I outlined for you. If you come down here, open the link below in order to update your research prospectus. Then submit your answers by 10 p.m. on Thursday, March 19th. Here is the template that you're going to use. It'll ask you to make a copy. I actually had one over there, so let me get rid of that. So this is saying, now that you have finished your annotated bib, let's go over the following tasks. Step number 1, update your research question. What is your updated research question that you seek to answer in your essay? In your response, cite your sources that indicate the context for your topic as outlined by your research and how your research question extends the topic's conversation. The purpose of this collegiate writing is that we don't want to just regurgitate material that you read already. How are you extending that conversation? How does your research question truly extend the topic? Number 2, edit your hypothesis to articulate your argument. What is your updated hypothesis? In your response, cite sources to demonstrate the counterclaim to your argument, then briefly outline any biases you hold on the topic. This is a big task, which I completely understand. However, note that in this hypothesis, whatever you want to prove, that's assuming that you read something in your secondary resources that essentially proved the opposite. So if you can identify the counterclaim to what's stated in one of your sources and then identify and eliminate your biases on that counterclaim and your own claim, it will really help you authentically compose questions for your primary research. Step number 3, identify your research method, questions, and primary sources. What data collection method outlined by Dana Lynn Driscoll, and I've hyperlinked the article in there if any of you need that, including observations. So you're going to conduct an observation, an interview, or a survey. Then, why is your chosen method, the observation, interview, or survey, the best method for your necessary research and topic? Then finally, create a calendar to outline how and when you will collect primary research. Number 1, how do you plan to conduct your research? In your answer, include the questions you plan to ask, as well as how the questions provide you the valuable information for your essay. I'm essentially asking you all, as you're asking the questions, you evaluate how you feel people are going to respond. You should note that if someone responds too easily, or if they provide you the exact answer you want, consider how your language might be biased. Then finally, number 2, when will you collect your primary research? In your answer, include the specific timeline and hopeful results of your primary research. I'm now going to come back in to our research prompt. As outlined in our research prompt that I've not updated since the 23rd, because I do believe that we can still continue with our research. What you're doing now, pardon me, is identifying on 319 or 320, you're going to submit your research prospectus part 2. You're going to submit a completed research prospectus. Then, please note that your primary research is due 4/1, which is approximately just about a few days after we return from spring break or this coronavirus outbreak. So if we keep on task and keep on track, we'll be just fine. As always, please email me if you have any questions. I look forward to reading your stuff and responding. Bye-bye.